Okay, so I'm Willie Simpson, co-owner of Seven Sheds Brewery. We're based in Railton in northwest Tasmania, and we've been going nearly 10 years. April 2018 is our 10th anniversary, so I guess we're sort of some of the veterans of the craft beer scene in Tasmania. Look, we've only got 4. We bring 4 to the market because we don't want to confuse people. So we tend to bring 3 regulars and something that's seasonal. Back at our cellar door, I think we've got 12 or more on the tasting list. And some of them are actually quite small quantities. Special beers like ones that have been finished in a whiskey barrel. Limited supply, and we just sell direct either through the cellar door or at markets and things like that. Otherwise our regular beers are available around Tasmania. You've got to do something. Okay, I'm not independently wealthy. I guess I was looking for an extra challenge. But the other important thing is my partner Catherine and I bought a property in Railton 14 years ago. Catherine's background is in tourism and regional development. My background's in beer. So I guess we put those together and opened a fairly modestly sized craft brewery, but also with the added tourist attraction of a cellar door. So that, we've got a cellar door that's open 5 days a week, 11 months of the year. So we're not just fermenters, we're also in the tourism industry. Well, I sort of can, but I'm not a chemist and I'm not a biochemist, so I'm very much, I guess there's a difference between being a chef and a cook. So I'm very much the cook. I didn't do a formal course. I was a home brewer. I was a journalist who specialised in writing about beer and other fermented drinks. So I guess I had some good contacts in the industry who could mentor. They mentored me when we set up Seven Sheds, and since then I could say we've actually trained a series of brewers. And part of the reason is because this is a small business, there's an awful lot involved in it, and it took me probably a couple of years to realise that if I removed myself from the production, then I had time to do all the important things. And a lot of people think brewing's romantic, but in fact it's actually a routine, and it's a fairly long routine. So if you can train someone to do it, it's probably better use of my time. Bottling, it's only in the last probably 10 months I've managed to get off the bottling line, but again, this is about not having to be at the coalface of production. So you've got time to run a cellar door, come out and sell the stuff at a market, distribute it, and I'm still the keg washer and cleaner and stuff like that. Well, I guess the thing about the science, so I don't have a degree in chemistry, but I've certainly I've got people who I can pick their brains on and get them to back up my theories and what I taste with the science. So for me, and I guess this was the background of being a beer journalist, my greatest tool is my palate. So I think, we're brewing beers we want to drink, and I can taste what the different ingredients add to a beer. If I had to write it as a chemical formula, I would struggle. But I do know that the chemical formula for fermentation is the same whether you're fermenting cane sugar, complex malt sugars, grape juice or mango juice. It is still some form of sugar being broken down by yeast and being turned into alcohol and CO2. So I guess I understand that basic science of fermentation. So we would have about 6 regular casuals, part-timers. So the main one is our brewer, and he, it's a part-time thing because we're only making about 30,000 litres of beer a year. So Paul is basically 20 hours a week, and that's between brewing, bottling, running the cellar door, doing deliveries for us. We've got other casual people. We need to pull in 2 extra people on bottling days. We've got maintenance people, cleaners, and casual staff that we employ at events. But I'd say we're generating probably the equivalent of 2 or 3 full-time employment positions, and that's including myself and my partner. Yep. And that's important to us because, I think I'm very proud of some of the people we've trained who have gone to work in brewing and distilling in Tasmania. And I think we're all part of the same community. And, the more people, you understand people are, they may move on, work for someone else, they may go off and start their own thing. That's fine. Yep. Look, one thing I will say is in the 9.5 years we've been going, there's been at least 2 attempts to start a brewers association, and the hardest thing has been to get people out of their breweries and come to a meeting, because they're all very busy, they're all hands-on production, and the idea of finding half a day or a day where you can go to a meeting is beyond people. So, one of the reasons I love coming to this farmers market is I've got more in common, I think, with a lot of the stallholders here than I do with other craft brewers, because we're pretty much like every other family-based artisan niche producer who is at the market. And obviously a lot of them are fermenters. They're either cheese makers, sourdough bakers, kombucha producers. And one of the great wake-up calls to me was, and we love all their products, by the way. You can see I'm swapping stuff for beer. But Sandy the sourdough, there he is. He came up to me, and I'm just in awe of the sourdough bread he makes. But he came up to me early on and he said, "How the hell did you get into this making beer?" And I thought, well, how the hell did you get into making sourdough bread? So it's a combination of passion, and then you're just on the journey. But I think it is a big community of niche producers here, and there's a fair sprinkling of fermenters. So it's like a big family.